Welcome back, paisanos. You made it back for the next part, huh? Well, Luigi's eager to show you some more. Ain't that right?
Wario!
What the? That's good, bro. Now let's see layer 3.
Wet Dry World is one of the most well-known levels in Mario 64, but not for any normal reason. This level's recent popularity has to do with how odd of a level it really is, and its supposed negative aura. In B33, a lot of levels are based on Wet Dry World and the story it tells. Levels such as Dry Town, Midnight City, and Downtown City all have a theme of a once thriving city or town being destroyed by the brothers. There are also other levels that take on the aspects of Wet Dry World, like one that combines the start of the Vanish Cap sections into a Wet Dry World like level. At the end of the day, Wet Dry World is a really weird level in the original, so I can see why it's used so much in B33, since so much of B33 is based on the oddities of the original Mario 64. What you might notice when talking to Yoshi is how odd he seems to act in this game. You can first find him in the backyard where he hints on how you progress in B33. He tells you that getting 10 stars will allow you to switch lobbies and to let the game flow like a dream. He's also guarding the void area as well. It's unknown how Yoshi even knows any of this stuff at all. You can find him on the roof, where instead of greeting you, he asks you what you're doing up there and should be looking for the princess. Finally, you can find him in the level Yoshi's Beach, where he seems to be a lot friendlier, offering to give you a star for finding all his eggs. You're also able to find him inside of Bowser's prison. Due to how strange Yoshi acts, it's most likely that the Yoshis the brothers encounter aren't even the real one, due to them all seemingly being in multiple areas at once, and how out of character they act. While it's nighttime in the game and you enter Vanilla Lobby, you can find a strange yellow toad where a normal toad would normally be. He has a strange yellow star pattern on his head, unlike the regular red toads, and he talks about how the castles always look like how it does, and there's no outside of the castle. The castle is all there is. This toad is a really weird case, honestly. I'm gonna talk about him more later. Along with the several normal toads, a bunch of faceless toads can be found along the plexus. Most of them say the same line and give you a free star. The main key feature of these toads is obviously their lack of face, something that is shared with multiple other apparitions in the castle, such as the faceless Peaches, and mainly Stanley / the AI itself. Due to these similarities, I think these toads were created by him. For what purpose I'm unsure, but perhaps just to add some sort of familiar creature in the castle. This area can be found by defeating Bowser in the Checkered Madness. Collecting the red star here will take you to Peach's secret corridor. This area is a small hallway with no music, with a design akin to the regular Mario 64 castle. The first thing you will hear in this area is Peach calling out to Mario repeatedly, along with a ghost Peach walking away. While following her, you'll come across a side room with a small window. Eventually, after following Peach, you'll come across Peach's portrait. Entering it will send you back to Vanilla Castle grounds. Now, I personally think this area is actually meant to represent where Peach is in the events of Mario 64. A popular theory was that there was some form of space between the two glass portraits in the castle entrance, and perhaps Peach was trapped inside them. Due to this area only being accessible by beating Bowser, and how exiting it will send you to the Peach portrait outside of the castle, I think the secret corridor is meant to represent where she was in the events of Mario 64. Boos can be found almost everywhere in B33, especially in several of the game's main lobbies. In the original Mario 64, boos were really only found in the castle courtyard and Big Boo's haunt. Their frequency in B33 is odd to say at the least, and why they were chosen to be represented so heavily compared to any other enemy. There are several hallways as well where boos can just be found rushing by. Are these boos perhaps deceased Marios who have died inside the Plexus, or am I just looking too deep into it? Entering Hybrid Lobby, above one of the doors, a large, dark star can be found. The star is blue with closed eyes. This type of star doesn't appear anywhere else in B33, so I'm not sure what it is and what it could represent. Maybe it's a dead star that ran out of power. According to the NPCs, stars are used to power entire worlds. Maybe these stars' power has run out, or the AI has no use for them anymore. Within the gardens of the Plexus, a large pane of glass can be found, with Luigi on the other side. Using the Vanish Cap, you can go through this glass and door on the other side. Inside of the door, you'll be in a small room with a lone Luigi painting inside. This Luigi painting shows Luigi with a dark gaze over his face. Entering the painting will take you to breaking the barrier. This method of switching the brothers is a reference to The Man Dressed in Green, a video by Mario Nova, which showcases the method I just discussed. A key difference is the painting itself, as in the video, the painting appears to show a smiling, happy Luigi, while in the game he seems expressionless. Entering the door at the exit of the castle courtyard will send you into a black void with a single star. Trying to grab the star will flood the entire room and spawn dozens of eels to come and kill you. There's no way to escape this area when this happens, as the door you came from is no longer able to be exited from. I'd like to think that the purpose of this area is to really show you that there's no escape. The door is placed in a way that makes it seem like sort of an exit to the whole Plexus, being placed alongside a massive wall. By dying here, it really shows that there's no escape from the Plexus, and Luigi should know that by now. Mr. I's basement is an area that can be found by entering a wooden door in the basement maze. As soon as you enter this door and the preceding metal door, you'll be sent to a silent series of hallways with dark green walls and the familiar red carpet. You'll quickly notice that this basement is filled with large Mr. I enemies. These enemies are quite unique, as instead of defeating them by running circles around them, they function more as obstacles, as they are unable to be defeated whatsoever, and will slowly move towards you when approached, instantly killing you upon contact. What you'll also notice is you can't leave the door that you entered from. Entering it will just send you back in the maze, along with multiple doors sending you back to the start as well. Anyways, this area is kind of... Oh wait, never mind, a star can be found here. Hey Luigi, go ahead and This area is an extension of the basement, being a large outdoor maze that is almost entirely dark. More of these giant eyes will be here, along with the staticky walls that will kill you when touched. Getting the 5 secrets here by outmaneuvering the giant eyes will earn you a star, previously a red star in the unabandoned version. Within Bowser's castle, you can find a lone toad within a star door. Talking to him, he will say that the princess is in another castle. Obviously, this is a reference to the original line from Mario Bros. 1. This line also makes thematical sense in B33, as the princess is technically in another castle of sorts, but due to every individual castle being a part of the larger Plexus, it's really hard to know where she actually is. By touching the statue in the castle courtyard and proceeding to enter the maze, you'll find a lone statue. Stepping on it will take you to an area known as the checkerboards. As the name suggests, it's just a large, flat platform in the style of a checkerboard pattern with a lone star. This area's origins appear to be inspired from Doodow's SM64 Beta Revival project, as a similar looking area is shown there. This lobby is a long hallway with a blue carpet and skylights that light up the area. The lobby has no music, and you'll only hear the calling of Mario. By following the call, you'll be led to a lone peach painting and a star. Entering the peach painting or collecting the star will send you back to Vanilla Lobby. Alternatively, you can enter the corrupted version of this lobby. In this version, the entire lobby is engulfed in darkness. The door leading to the ghostly courtyard is missing. The only way to escape is by collecting the star here. This star, however, is a fake, taking you back to Plexal Lobby. What's so notable is Peach's calls can no longer be heard, and this area's corruption seems to be another doing of the AI. But why destroy an area so unfamiliar to the bros? Within the Plexus, a strange sort of clock symbol can be found almost everywhere, including the very front of the castle. Of course, this symbol is also in the actual Mario 64 beta, but what it actually is used for is unknown. It appears to be some sort of clock/compass that usually replaces the normal clock in Tick-Tock clock variants, so it's most likely that. But why is it never used? And the clock symbol also seems to be lacking any hands whatsoever. B33 speedruns are an interesting concept due to the nature of B33's maze-like design, hundreds of areas, and personalization that can make the game even more random. A speedrun may seem to be out of the question, but a few speedruns do exist, with categories like 33/34 star, 35/36 star, and 460 star for 1.0.2. What's interesting is, according to speedrun.com, a true 460 star run has not actually been done yet, so I'm interested to see who ends up doing one first. While inside the stairway to nowhere and entering the large pit, the words "You are worthy" can appear. Now you might notice I said "can", as this is not always the case. The message actually depends on your star count. Entering this hole with below 33 stars will have it say you are not worthy and kick you back to Vanilla Lobby. But having above 33, it will have it say you are worthy and will take you to a special area above the clouds. Now this message is using the signature orange font, meaning that this is the AI itself saying whether you are worthy or not. But worthy of what? Your star count seems to be the only thing that matters to whether you're worthy or not. Does having a higher star count perhaps show the AI that he thinks you're capable of gathering all the stars and finding the core? But 33 is not a very high number of stars at all. Where you get sent to is Dream Castle, a weird random castle with a red star. Why does the AI think you need to be worthy to enter a place like this? The Floating Hotel is another Breaking the Barrier inspired area. It's a large building with brown brick walls and maze-like rooms. Notably, a large hallway can be found, along with a stretch of doors that by entering will kill you and send you back to Plexal Lobby. What's interesting is that these doors don't appear to be enterable until you gather a single red star. The rooms to the hotel are supposedly the hallway of doors, but entering them, as I stated before, just sends you back to Plexal lobby. Another thing to note is falling off the map here will not actually kill you, but instead land you on the castle roof. Why this is called the floating hotel is strange. The rooms are sort of laid out like a hotel, but nobody actually seems to stay in these rooms, as the doors just kill you. Though B33 has a story going on behind the scenes, individual levels usually do not consist of a story. With the beta and dreamlike theme of the hack, levels being unrelated and not interconnected makes sense. But there's exceptions, of course, and two big ones. But for now, I'm just going to talk about the town flooding plotline, as I'll call it. This plotline consists of a good handful of levels that all have a theme of the bros flooding and destroying civilizations. Now, the story does not necessarily have a linear timeline. Each level mostly just consists of the same theme and not directly being connected. Anyways, starting with the level Dry Town, as I talked about before, this level is a large town that seems mostly empty. Talking to the Babam here will have him tell you that all the residents are hiding inside their homes, and getting the star here will activate a switch, flooding the entire thing. I'm talking about this level first, as it's the one most people are most likely to encounter first. Next is Downtown City, a level that seems to have themes of being ancient, mostly with the architecture and the massive temple in the middle. This level appears to be much more populated, mostly by Goombas. And talking to the Babam here will mention how the city's temple is sacred, and entering it will cause the rivers to overflow. Entering the temple will throw you seemingly forward in time, as the entire city ends up flooded and destroyed. After destroying the city, the Babam will mention the monsters in red and green, obviously being Mario and Luigi, and kindly asking you to leave. The sign seems to mention how the cries of civilians were silenced under the crashing of waves, and lest we forget where the devils soundly sleep and the forgotten gently weep. I think the devils are referring to the bros again. Another area is known as Flooded Downtown. Now, due to this level's name and sharing a similarity to Downtown City in a similar design, they could possibly be connected in a way. Unlike Downtown City, this level is entered in an already flooded state. Talking to the small Goomba, ask if their homes and families were in your way, and whatever you can do can't be worse than what you've already done. In this case, flooding the entire city. The city. Now, unlike the levels I've talked about previously, this level has much more modern architecture, probably taking place in a more modern time. The city takes place at night, so almost no NPCs are out at the time, but various scuttlebugs can be found. This area doesn't really have as much of a story as the previous areas, as the level takes place in the present, unlike Downtown City taking place mostly in the past, when the deed has already been done. Yet the bros continue to flood this place anyway. Next is Wet Dry Paradise, which actually shows a redemption for the brothers, as in this level they are actually destroying the crystals that they've been using to destroy these towns. The NPCs here seem to be blissfully unaware of what the brothers are capable of. They mention the crystals having a negative aura to them, a reference to the original Mario 64 ICEBERG. Destroying them has effectively saved the village and grants you a power star. Next is Babam Village, which seems to take the story on a bit of a twist. This seems to take place near the end of the timeline, as the residents here hold a certain disdain for the bros now, as the bros have found their hiding place, according to the Babam. They fled this town due to you flooding the only world they've ever known. Now, due to the bros flooding multiple towns, I'm not sure which town he's talking about specifically, but I'd like to think he's talking about Dry Town, as Downtown City takes place in the past, and the city didn't appear to have any Goombas like Dry Town does. The Babam mentions that you're no different from the Tyrant, and what will happen if you steal the stars, but cuts himself off, saying there's no use, and to do whatever you want. Talking to the Goombas here, they all simply just tell you to get lost. I assume the tyrant the Babam is talking about here is Bowser. Does that mean some of the town floodings could be from the king himself? As he says you're no different from him. Now, collecting the star here will send you to Dead Village. Power stars are used to power worlds in B33, and taking them appears to destroy them, as the Babam warns you about. Taking their power star has effectively killed the entire populace, and only a shadowy figure remains. After exploring the Plexus for a while, you may notice a strange door in the internal garden, one that's high up and out of reach. Finding your way up there and entering this door will take you to the unsettling maze. This area is a series of dark, maze-like hallways with various Bowser paintings and other paintings. What's most notable is how strange these Bowser paintings are. They are more green, and Bowser appears to be grinning and sticking out his tongue in a very creepy way. The other paintings you can find here are also not normal. The tiny huge island Goombas have no eyes, and the cool mountain painting has a Mr. Eye in place of one of the snowmen. Finally, by entering the door with the eyeless Peach painting above it, you can appear to find what is Peach's room, or Bowser's room. This room is strange and out of place here. How would you have a bedroom in a place like this? If it was Peach's room, it would make no sense with the giant Bowser painting along with what lies outside the door. At Bowser's room, I can't imagine having a pink and purple color scheme with Peach portraits everywhere. What are these strange green Bowser paintings anyways? I'd be quiet here. Make sure nothing hears you through the cracks in these walls. Around the Plexus, primarily in the beta 3rd floor, many test levels can be found. These are levels that were used in the creation of Mario 64. Due to that, these levels are extremely basic, containing basic geometry, with very little enemies or even any at all, and usually containing a single star. Each test level usually has some sort of theme, such as enemy test, platform test, collision test, etc., and all serve as a little cool reference to the creation of Mario 64. One of B33's main inspiration sources is the Mario 64 iceberg, and one of the most popular entries on that iceberg is the Wario apparition. B33 already has entries from the iceberg somewhat included in the hack, such as the Mario 64 personalization theory, which is the entire basis of the hack. For some, it might be surprising that the Wario apparition is not included at all. What's odd is an uncanny basement from Classified, which contains the Wario apparition, was included in the hack. The apparition itself was not. I think the main reason it wasn't included in the hack was kind of due to ruining the horror of it. Let me explain. B33 horror works so well due to it being subtle and more psychological. There's really only 2 main jump scares in the entire game, and most other horror is just the areas you find and the weird things you can find in the Plexus. Even those not really being jump scares at all. I think including a whole sequence with the Wario apparition would kind of just be phoning in horror for the sake of it. But I don't know, maybe it could work if it was included well. This area can be entered by breaking through a hole in the wall within the prison of Bowser's domain, and entered through the hole in the bottom. This escape route takes place outside of a massive version of Peach's castle, casted in darkness with uneven platforming to cross. No music plays here at all, and after all the platforming, you will jump down and walk on a large path of dark stone before entering a different area of the castle. This is another strange area, as there is no origin being an original creation. In B33, this was one of the easier ways to access a red star, as it would almost take you directly there, but in 1.0 it doesn't really serve much of a purpose anymore, as it's no longer a red star. This is another area, the aforementioned Faceless Mario, aka the AI. This area is a direct reference to SM64 Classified, as by entering Lethal Cavern, where you unlock the metal cap, you may find a strange black hole in the wall with a sign warning you about entering the hole, saying you might see strange things. Entering will send you to Crawley Cave, a large corridor that quickly cuts to a void, with an ominous Mario in the distance. What's strange is this Mario does not try to attack the player at all. Unlike most other times he's encountered, he just stands there, looking into the distance. Touching him will still crash the game though. The corridor that Luigi entered from will start to glitch out as well, upon stepping into the darkness. This area is also inescapable as fast travel is disabled. SGI Indy is a level that's based on a real-life SGI Indy. Its level layout is meant to be shaped like the motherboard of one. This is one of the much harder B33 levels, as most of the ground is quicksand and will instantly kill you. This level is found in polygonal chaos and entered via a beam of light coming out of the ground in some sort of corrupted machine. There's actually another way to enter this level, which I'll touch on later, but it's really one of the stranger B33 levels, as it's not really based on anything Mario 64, or even Mario whatsoever. This is an area that can be mainly entered through Plexal Basement. It's a strange gateway area that's a long hallway outdoors, surrounded by water, in the castle to your left, or right. Notably, a large peach painting can be found staring you down. This area is one of the oldest B33 areas and has gone through big design changes. You are also able to enter a pipe behind the peach painting, using a vanish cap found nearby. This area is another area that sort of gives off a calming vibe. It's not a lot you really get to be outside of the Plexus unless you're in a level. And these sort of courtyard balcony-esque areas always seem to have a different vibe to them. This lobby looks nearly identical to Vanilla Lobby from Mario 64, but with a few inconsistencies. The lighting is much dimmer, with shadows casted in all the corners of the area, and the stairs being replaced with a singular stair, as well as none of the doors except the double door at the top of the stairs work. This lobby is directly taken from a 1996 beta version of Mario 64. Which also is interesting to know is that jumping in the Peach window will crash the game. Inside of Plexal Basement 2, a random hallway with a pit that has a light coming from it on the other side can be found. Trying to walk towards this pit will have the hallway continuously teleport you back, indefinitely. This is in a similar vein to the endless staircase from Mario 64. Even using cheats to get to this pit will show that nothing is actually contained inside, such as a secret level or something. This seems just like to be a reference to Super Mario 64 and does not appear to have any deeper meaning associated with it. Maybe it's just used to taunt the brothers' curiosity that more levels exist. By entering the pipe in the Blood Lake, you will be taken to a version of the main castle grounds covered in a red glow. It's similar to the main castle grounds with a few notable changes. The toad in the courtyard is decapitated, along with the red star door at the top of the castle. This door requires you to find every red star in order to be opened. What's also notable is the music. It's the carousel theme from Big Boo's Haunt. This music can be interpreted as being used to taunt you, to show you that even when you think you can escape, you just get sent right back to the castle grounds. You can simply leave this area by entering the main castle's doors. This area is found where the original aquarium could be found in Mario 64. This aquarium has a similar design to the original, with a few changes. About half the aquarium is empty, along with it being shrouded in a blue fog. The most notable change is how the health works. Normally by ascending from the water, you will quickly gain back your health, but in this level, not only your health drains much faster underwater, but you continue to lose HP while on the water's surface. Why this happens is unknown and appears to be unique to this level. Within the Plexal basement, you can find a lone pipe within one of the walls. Going near it will Beyond the waters of the flooded basement lies the Toad Catacombs, a memorial site of sorts that looks like Big Boo's Haunt. Talking to the Toad here will ask you to pay respects for the dead. Now this area brings up many questions. Why do toads have their own strange graveyard of sorts, only accessible in such an unconventional way, and seemingly so hidden? A very large grey toad statue also lies here. Standing on the 5 gravestones will get you a red star. Why does an area like this have such importance where a red star has to be hidden? This also implies that various toads among the Plexus have died, but from what? I can't see toads dying of natural causes, as that wouldn't really make sense in this world. Was something out to get them? Would that explain why the catacombs are so hidden? This is one of the much more recent B33 areas added. Added in 1.0.2, this area can be entered in various ways. It takes on the form of a large dungeon with red and black tiled floors and brown metal walls. It is very large, containing 3 whole floors. For being a sort of hub area, no stars or paintings can be found. Now this area's main purpose was to replace the outdated shame areas, but why nothing was placed here is so odd. Not a single star or level, just an empty, unused dungeon. Various Bowser paintings can also be found here as well. It also has its own unique track that was made months before this area ended up getting added to B33. Shadow Forest and Mips Forest. A dark foreboding forest cast entirely in darkness. This area was inspired by Wonderland Woods, a similar area in 0.9 that got replaced by this one. You can enter this area by entering the gray painting in Polygonal Chaos, or through Mips's forest via the pipe. The pipe here that takes you there is a version of this forest that's much less dark, with Mips, who warns you that you shouldn't be walking around unknown places. This area is quite strange and